just finished the harvest a week ago, officially a week ago. It was a very long harvest, to be honest.
Yeah, because you start picking like July, August.
Exactly, but there was a delay, and I'm not. I didn't get into high resolution what was the reason for this late harvest, the end of this harvest, but probably we had a very cold winter and everything woke up quite late, and so everything was delayed a bit. But you know, climate change, this is the beauty of this profession. You don't know even when you start, and you don't know when you will finish. So you see the grapes here in this crushing pad in the summer, so it's very, very busy during the season, and now it's very quiet. You know, we calm down a little bit after 3 months of 22 hours working a day.
Wow.
Actually, we make night harvest, which means we start at 10 o'clock at night, we finish at 6:30, and we receive the grapes here arriving at perfect temperature, at around 18 degrees Celsius. Then we start the hand selection. We have here a sorting table. The grapes, we drop the grapes from the beans. The beans, well, they're already stored somewhere. So we drop the beans slowly to this vibrating table. We connect the sorting table. We are 6 people selecting cluster by cluster. Hand selection, only the best clusters will get into the fermenting tanks. Before it gets to the fermenting tank, we make another. You are lucky because still all the machines are here as we are still in harvest. Good. So this is the crusher destemmer. This is one of the main machines in a winery. So whole cluster gets into red cluster. Usually red cluster. I make with the white. I make a whole cluster press. The reds enter this machine, and we have here. You see this axle. It is working round and round, and then it gives a very delicate slap to the berry, and the berries are falling down here. And this is and then this will go here, and it is rolling all the way, and it crush the berries. And then we get under where we put the pump underneath, and we all the way to the fermenting tank. It will be a mash, crushed skins or berries with juice. Then we start the fermentation, the alcoholic fermentation, with this controlled temperature tanks. These tanks are. This is the jacket of the tanks, the cooling jacket of the tank. Outside we have also, but it's double jacket. So we have the cooling jacket, and on top of the cooling jacket, we have isolation and another stainless steel cover. So we can ferment outside even in the middle of the summer, and with this isolation and double jacket, we can keep the temperature as much as we can. If we want to keep it 14 degrees Celsius, it will stay, even though outside it will be 100 degrees Celsius, we will keep it. No worries.
So how long do they stay in each tank?
So our fermentations for the red wines would be around 3 weeks, 18 days to 21 days, 24 days, depends, because I want to extract as much as I can from the skins. We are making a big selection, only the best grapes, so at the end of the day, very, very top quality will arrive into the tanks, and we have a lot to extract from the skins. So we will, on the other side, I don't want to extract too much, so it would be a medium to long maceration in the tank, the juice with the skins. After 14 to 24 days, we will finish the alcoholic fermentation is finished, and we will start the press phase, which means we will separate the alcoholic fermentation. There is CO2, which is the byproduct of the alcoholic fermentation is CO2, which means the skins will float on top of the tank, and we will have two fractions. One fraction is the juice, the very, very first wine, and the second would be the skins, which are floating due to the CO2, which is going out. So we will open here the lower valve. We will move all the wine, the first virgin wine down. This is called the free run, and then we'll stay with a big cake of skins, and we will take manually. We get into the tank and we take all the skins to the press. This is the pneumatic press, and we will press, and we'll have another fraction which we will put in smaller tanks. This is the reason I have a lot of tanks, because I separate as much as I can. There are some big tanks which are empty, because I want to have a very, very big selection of every single vineyard will ferment separately. Then I press it. We will separate as much as we can, and then at the end of the day in January I will have a lot of small tanks, a lot of selected wines, and then I will start to play with the final blends before I go to the barrels. We have the cellar downstairs, so we will move the wines by gravitation. So we will connect the hose to the tank, and then we will move the wines to the cellar.
You said you pick it at night, so that's to keep the temperature of the grapes lower.
As when the temperature, it is quite hot here during August, September. If we pick it at night, so it will be perfect temperature to start the fermentation and to reserve the aromas. When it starts at 32, 34 degrees Celsius, spontaneous fermentation can start, and then we are not so happy. We are moving wines, older wines up to the tanks, and then going down with new wines. So, 18 months. And then up to for instance, there is Sylvain, is a very, very well-known French cooker in Bordeaux, and Dentos is another one. They are both from Bordeaux, but everyone has its typical spices and the secrets of toasting and the origin of the oak, etc. And Second Moreau is another one. So you see, there is the toasting, for instance, medium long toasting or medium toasting. So I play with this kind of toasting. So briefly, the whites which we make are going with minimal intervention. So it will go straight to the press where we make the selection, and then straight, instead of going through the crusher stemmer, I make whole cluster, whole bunch press.
That's not normal, is it?
Yeah, it is much more delicate work. I lose a lot of wine, but at the end of the day, the wine keeps its freshness, its aromas. No intervention means minimum oxygen or zero oxygen on the way. Very delicate, so all this stemming phase, I save it, and it means everything is much more natural, and minimalism is the key. I don't want to harm these delicate Sauvignon Blanc grapes or delicate Chardonnay, so it's really...
Tamar said you do the rosé as well.
Yeah, and the rosé. The whites and the rosé are all whole cluster press.
The rosé is very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, it's...
and I don't drink rosés, okay?
Okay.
I don't drink rosés, and I'm like, this is a good rosé.
Yeah, we really give all the attention to the rosé. It's really, when you have the name Flam on the label, so I have to take it very, very seriously. Usually after putting all these tanks in the barrels, we take out the bottling machine, which is here in the middle, and we bottle the wines straight to the bottle, and the second phase it arrive even to Michigan, should arrive to around Michigan.
So how much a year do you produce?
Around 160,000 bottles a year, around 60 to 80, 160, 100 to 80, depending.
All red, white, rosé, everything together.
Everything, yeah. Still now we are planting some new vineyards, even though I will pull out some old vineyards, so we will be probably around the 200,000 bottles a year. This is the idea, to keep the control in the vineyards and in the cellar. So as much as I can keep the control from the vineyard to the cellar, I can be sure that the quality will be high and be kept.
So no mass production.
Yeah. Never say never, but you know, we started with 2 barrels 20 years ago, and if you would record me 20 years ago in October, you would be around this amount. But the idea, as much as I can keep the control. The number is not so critical. The idea is the main issue. The main issue is quality. It happens to be kosher. The main idea about making kosher wine is that I'm Jewish, but I'm not Orthodox. I'm the winemaker, so I'm in the cellar all around the day. We have great relations. It's very simple. I cannot touch the wine from the minute I'm on the selection table, from the minute the first squeeze, when it becomes a juice. I cannot be involved in touching the wine. I'm deeply involved, but I don't touch the wine till it is being bottled. So I have to hire some cellar workers which are Orthodox, which is not a big issue in Israel. They're all over. So I made the wine by myself for the first 13 years, and then we expanded the production, and there was an issue, well, shall I become kosher and hire only Orthodox people? Which means for me, psychologically mainly, it'd be very hard, because sometimes I felt like coming here on, Saturday, to be by my own in the cellar and to make meditation with my wines. Okay, so now my wife is much happier because I'm at Saturday at home. And the day when we close the cellar, these guys, when they close the cellar, I cannot stay here till midnight. So the main issue is Orthodox cellar workers or not Orthodox. And if you are lucky enough to have passionate and very good cellar workers, so there is no issue. Well, and there are some small issues like working with yeast, kosher yeast only, but it's the same. We buy from the same non-kosher producers in France or in Canada or Denmark. The only issue is that it should be very clean. The production plant of the yeast should be very clean, because it's. Do you know are you following the Jewish regulations? Or?
No.
In Passover. We don't. The Orthodox don't eat bread,
Right.
or anything which connected with wheat.
Yes.
So when they produce the yeast in the production in the factories in Denmark or Canada or whatever, the fabric should be totally clean from any kind of wheat products. So maybe it is even better, gluten-free, or this is the
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
we call it. We have the kosher stamp of kosher for Passover,
Yeah.
which means they cannot go into the winery and eat bread on top of the. Maybe it is better. Everything should be always very clean. So it's another certification, which doesn't have nothing with quality issue. If you have the best vineyards, if you have the best cellar workers, if you are good winemakers, so you can make top-notch kosher wine.
And you don't
There's
make
no need for a rabbi to come in and bless it or anything like
No,
that.
He comes with me because
rabbi
he wants to be sure that I don't touch the tank. It's not
Okay.
any blessing or whatever. We are blessed 24/7.
no, man.
Okay.
And you don't do you make mevushal?
No,
You
no.
don't
This is another issue, which
Yeah.
this is my limit. So,
You stop at kosher, you don't go on to
in the US, they are trying to push me royal. Make mevushal. Again, never say
They
never,
never?
but for the moment, till I'm not sure that they're because the process is really getting better and better every year due to technologies. It means that they increase the temperature. Today they have very unique machines, which I'm afraid it is too expensive to my small operation. That it used to be to increase the temperature to 85 degrees Celsius,
Wow.
and then to drop it for 1 minute, and then to drop it to 20 degrees Celsius. And today the technology is much better. So, and they found some ways how to bypass the regulations, the biblical regulations. But at the moment, thanks God, I don't have
So
to deal with it.
what's the reason to raise it to 85 degrees? What
To
is?
harm the wine.
I know,
should-
but that's what I'm thinking, to harm the wine. But
Because the idea is they want to harm the wine, and then a non-Jewish can serve the wine. Don't ask me why, where. The idea is to the economic idea is to let a non-Jewish waiter
serve to
to
Jewish,
serve it to
the
Jewish.
person.
And to make it happen, you need to serve actually not really a wine, a harmed wine. So they harm the wine in this way, and then it becomes harmed wine. Some people like Jay, they say me, I made a lot of blind tasting with mevushal and non-mevushal, and with these new technologies, you cannot really find the difference. Maybe, but as my wines, as my wines are for long aging, I would like to see much more experiments with long aging wines, because I'm not making Beaujolais or very young wines. My wines are actually oriented to be aged from the Classico for 6-7 years. Actually, there are some Classicos 13-14 years, which really are
Wow.
showing very nice. So I actually, to be honest, I don't want, as I don't need, and the wines are sold out, so why should I bother myself with this to harm my wines? But anyway, there is not too much flam in the world, so we say them, don't bother yourself, sell to the right people, focus on the people who are really want don't go to too much caterings. But sometimes, there are high-end customers, Orthodox customers who want to serve in their wedding or bar mitzvah or whatever, some flam, and it's limited, but okay.
Well, we can hire an Orthodox server to serve the wine at the catering, right?
Yeah.
And they could
they
serve
found
kosher,
the-
right? Then they would be able to serve.
They found the solution.
Yeah.
The one who really wants it, they found a
They
way.
find a way.